Hello everyone, Tyler King here with a new episode of NuReview. Today I wanted to do a review of the last of the David Bowie albums in the Brilliant Live Adventure series. David Bowie at the Kit Kat Club Live New York 99. In case the title doesn't give it away, this is a David Bowie live album recorded at the Kit Kat Club in New York City in 1999. This was one of, if not the final stops for his tour for his album Hours, which was not a particularly long tour. It was mostly smaller shows, one of which was already released in the Brilliant Live Adventure series called Something in the Air, named after the song off of the Hours album, Something in the Air. Now, my biggest criticism about this particular album is that, unlike his tours for Outside or Earthling, there was very little variation in the shows that he played for Hours. I mean, to the point where the track listing between the Something in the Air album and this album is almost the exact same, with a couple notable exceptions, which we will get to later on in the video. I do think that the Bowie estate made a bad move with doing two Outside albums, two Earthling albums, and two Hours albums for this box set. I think that the Hours tour really could have been just summed up in one live album, just again because there's very little variation between the two. Um, that being said, though, I do think I preferred this over Something in the Air. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a copy of Something in the Air in front of me because that was the only record in the Brilliant Live Adventure series I wasn't able to get before it sold out. Luckily, I was able to get the other five, and when I say luckily, I mean luckily. These albums sold out incredibly quickly, particularly the last, I think, four. The first two, which were the ones for the Outside tour, sold out in maybe 24 to 48 hours each, and then all the other ones were gone. I mean, within hours, sometimes minutes of the pre-order links going up. So if you're one of the people who was able to get all six, you're very lucky. If you're somebody who wasn't able to get any of them, I do apologize, but I do know that the Bowie estate made a post on social media saying that they're going to try to repress these albums. I have no idea what the details or information about that is, but supposedly people are going to be able to get their hands on them again. And also, if you weren't able to get them, I do know that they've been popping up on Spotify, Apple Music, various streaming services, bit by bit. So I know the Look at the Moon live album just got put up maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago. So I would expect to see the Kit Kat Club one go up probably within the next month or so, I would say. But let's get to the actual recording. As far as I think Bowie's voice goes, it's in great form. As far as the playing goes, I think the songs are played well in the context that some of the older songs are played in a way to make them, what's the best way to say it? They're performed in the same style as songs on Earthling, or not Earthling, on Hours. What I mean when I say that is it's very like polished and clean, and there's this very like TLC kind of backing vocalist going on. The most noticeable instance being on the song Always Crashing in the Same Car, which is one of my absolute favorite David Bowie songs of all time, and I really do not like the interpretation of it here with the backing vocalist going, "Oh, always crashing. I think it derails the power of the song and the urgency of it and belittles it. Let me look at this track listing. That's really the only song I can think of that gets such a massive, massive reworking. Life on Mars here is just a solo piano and vocal performance with Bowie and Mike Garson, and it might be my absolute favorite live version of this song I've ever heard. I started crying listening to it for the first time. I think it's absolutely beautiful. The songs from the Hours album are played fine. I don't think that Hours is an album to write home about really anyways, so I think that they might sound a little bit better live because you can't hide behind a gloss when you're playing live. You know, everything should be live, you would hope. So yeah, there's a little bit more of an urgency to some of these songs, particularly Survive and The Pretty Things Are Going to Hell, which were two of my favorite songs from Hours anyways. Um, Yeah, the performance of China Girl is fine. The performance of Can't Help Thinking About Me, which is an early David Bowie song, is good. I think that for me, the two highlights here are Stay, which was previously a previous live version of it was included on the Look at the Moon live album. However, that was a much more raw and energetic version of it, which matches because Earthling was a more energetic album than Hours. Whereas the version here, it's still pretty dang good. I just wouldn't say it's the best live performance of it ever. And then I think that the two songs from the encore that are on here, which are The Pretty Things Are Going to Hell and I'm Afraid of Americans, ends the album on a bit of a punch, a bit of a high note. I'm Afraid of Americans is the only song on here taken from any of his material post 1983, which I think is bizarre because on the Earthling and Outside tours, there was not a lot of strong emphasis put on his earlier material. And it seemed like on the Hours album, that was where Bowie's attitude towards what he, quote unquote, could and could not play during his tours and his live shows began to change. And you can see that in the track listing here. I mean, you have two songs from Hunky Dory, Life on Mars, Changes. You have China Girl from the Let's Dance album, Always Crashing in the Same Car from Low, and Stay from Station to Station. From Hours, you have one, two, three, four, five songs. And yeah, the only other one is I'm Afraid of Americans from Earthling. Now, do I recommend this album? Yes and no. I feel a bit more cut and dry about it than I do about the Look at the Moon album, which I will be talking about in a later video. You'll see what I'm talking about soon. In that, I can definitely recommend this live album if you enjoy Hours, if you prefer the Something in the Air live album. I don't think that it is a great entry point into David Bowie's live output, nor do I think that it's the strongest contender in his Brilliant Live Adventures series. But I think that for a live document of this particular stage in Bowie's live career, it's a good album. I actually prefer this one over the Something in the Air live album. I don't have in front of me what the differences are between the two, but I feel like the difference in track listings is absolutely minor. I know that the other one didn't have I'm Afraid of Americans on it, and it also didn't have Stay. But memory escapes me of what it did have in their place. But again, I know it was very, very small as far as differences go. Might have had Drive-In Saturday on it. I feel like Something in the Air did. Um, Now, another complaint that people had about this particular album is that it isn't the complete show. David Bowie played 18 songs on this day at this set, and this live album only includes 12 of them. Apparently also there's been a pretty high quality bootleg of this album that has been in circulation for a number of years. So some fans, of course, do feel a bit cheated by it. And I completely understand where they're coming from. I completely understand that complaint. Um, I do think that the Bowie estate probably could have done a full show recording for this release, like they did with the Look at the Moon one, which was a triple album. They could have put this one into a triple album, or they could have included more songs on either side. As it is, we only have 12 songs, and it is a double album, which I am about 90% certain that they could have fit this entire recording on one disc. But as it is, I might come back to this one every now and then. Since ours isn't yet released or re-released on vinyl, and I'm not willing to spend hundreds of dollars to get the original pressing of it, if for whatever reason I do want to hear songs from that album, this right now is my only way to do so. So, with that being said, like I said, I don't think it's bad. It's just not great. Um, yeah, it's just kind of at a weird place in his live shows before the quote-unquote renaissance of the Heathen tour and the Reality tour. But I also find it very disheartening that his live shows became so much less energetic immediately following two of the most energetic and interesting tours of his entire career. But all of that aside, David Bowie live at the Kit Kat Club, if I had to give it a numerical rating, I would probably give it a 6 or 7 out of 10. Maybe a strong 6 or a light 7, something like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's good, but I just don't feel like, I feel like if this had been the sole Hours live album on the Brilliant Live Adventures set, I would admire this a lot more, but as it is, it's way too much in common with the Something in the Air live album for me to really separate one from the other. So, that's my review of David Bowie at the Kit Kat Club, live, New York, 99. What do you think of this particular live album and recording? Do you think it's the best album on the Brilliant Live Adventure series? Do you think it is the worst album on the Brilliant Live Adventure series? Does it have your favorite rendition of Stay on it? Does it have your least favorite version of Life on Mars on it? I want to know all these things, so please write it in the comment. Make sure to please like and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content like this going forward. Yeah, so I am Tyler King with NuReview. Keep listening to a lot of great music, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.